Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'm going to film the first hourglass. This is an hourglass. The title is going to be Hourglass. It's not a misspelling. Please understand that's called a pun, or right? What is that called?
A play.
Play on
Play
words.
on words.
Right? Okay. It's a play on words.
Yeah.
Jamie, you want to see a magic trick?
I would love to.
All right. Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is PreRisis. What I do is something absolutely incredible, which is what I call making movies in real life. Now, that's very difficult to describe, so I'm going to lower the bar a little bit and talk about sports, something that I don't really like to engage in because I am an expert in something called game theory, so it's very difficult for me to argue with human beings who don't understand statistics, which is far below applied mathematics, which is the precursor to game theory. Does that make sense so far?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Sports. Let's talk about sports for a second.
Sure.
You ever heard of an actor named Jared Leto?
I have, yes.
You see, what is my opinion on Jared Leto?
You don't care for him as a
Right.
actor.
Because what do I call him? A sellout, right? Okay. You know why?
Why? Why don't you tell us?
All right. I'm going to tell you. So I don't have that much time. So please, ladies and gentlemen, sports are really important. One of the most important things about sports is sneakers, footwear. The athletics of sports evolved exponentially greatest at the Olympics when a very famous story about a runner named Jackie Owens who won the Olympics. And the remarkable part about that is he was not wearing rubber-soled shoes, I believe is the story, because both Adidas and Puma were German companies. And it's a fascinating story about the two brothers that started Adidas and Puma. And I've spoken about that story before. So now let's talk about the real elephant in the room. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. What's the plot? Now, there's a movie that Jared Leto made in 1997. And for anyone who doesn't remember 1997, there were two very hot young white actors named Leonardo DiCaprio and Jared Leto. They were the most prominent at the time. At that time, they were given a choice. One chose Titanic and the other one chose Prefontaine. Okay?
Oh.
All right? So here we go. All right? That's why he lives in a bunker. Read this plot of Prefontaine.
Life and times of Steve Prefontaine, a young, long-distance runner from Oregon who pursued the dream of Olympic gold in Munich and became one of the biggest yet most tragic sports stars in America.
Wow. On the truth.
Ooh.
Now, Jamie, what do I always... Jamie's not going to sneeze, but she's going to pretend like she's going to, so she goes off camera. And the most annoying thing is when you're about to sneeze and someone starts talking about you sneezing and you don't end up... Did you sneeze?
I did.
Oh, she actually sneezed.
I did.
All right. So whatever. You have to be a human being to get this part of the video. All right. So, I guess...
It's funny.
All right. So,
Steve Prefontaine.
what makes history?
Geography.
Excellent. Now, in that two-sentence blurb, what geographical element was identified?
Oregon and Munich.
Oh, wow. So, Munich, which is the birthplace of sneakers. And now read to me about a man named Phil Knight and a little company he started. Watch this.
Okay.
And if some of you know where I'm going with this one and you're pretty amazed, well, you're not Steve, so you're not Prefontaine.
Okay, so after graduating from the University of Oregon...
Whoa, what a coincidence.
Knight enlisted in the Army and served
Keep going.
1 year of active duty.
Army. So he's an army man, so he believes in the government, he believes in code and honor. Keep going.
He does.
But when did he start Nike?
I'm going to get there.
Sorry, I gave it away.
Basically it's how he went on a trip, yada yada. So to Knight's surprise, Barrowman not only ordered the tiger shoes, but also offered to become a partner.
What year?
In January, I was about to read that. January 25th, 1964.
1964. But when did they become
Nike?
really
I'm gonna tell
popular?
you. 1969.
But what? And when does Steve Prefontaine?
1971. Sorry.
1971.
Yes, 1971.
So and when does Steve Prefontaine story take place?
It does not say. I'll look it up.
1997, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, 1997 is when the movie came out. So here we go. It's in the
1972 Munich Olympics.
Wow, the 1972 Munich Olympics. You see, ladies and gentlemen, what a coincidence. Now, if you watched the movie Prefontaine and did not realize you're watching a Nike commercial until this video.
I mean, I never saw the movie, but yeah.
But do you understand why I call Jared Leto a sellout?
Yeah.
Do you respect?
It's literally a Nike commercial then, if that's what.
What is what?
Meaning,
what
like,
what?
if his. If
What
the
was what?
timing was
Wikipedia's?
1972.
That's right.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
Phil Knight started Nike's ascent to greatness
I don't even
in
know.
71 to 72. And Phil Nike is an army man.
Yeah.
And
I actually want to read this.
Are you not at all?
I'm so
Do
impressed.
you like my magic trick?
It's
Do you
really
believe, do you understand what I just did? Okay? So for anyone that's wondering, let's say I'm at a cocktail party, I would have to go and do all of this just to express to everyone why Leonardo DiCaprio is an amazing actor.
Yeah.
Because the choices you make as a human being affect you, your loved ones, and everyone, past, present, and future. And Leonardo DiCaprio chose Titanic, and Jared Leto and his company chose the money. You see, movies are not free. And if you ever want to watch a DeWalt commercial that's 2 hours long, watch a movie called The Working Man, starring Jason Statham. That is what is called a commercial. That is not a movie. On the set, there are more lawyers that represent the DeWalt Corporation, also known as Home Depot. So the concept, because if anyone doesn't understand that Lowe's doesn't carry Milwaukee, and if you can't put 1 + 1 together, then I don't know what to tell you. But, or you might be colorblind, that's another thing, or a complete moron. But essentially, the whole point of what I'm just saying is that in 1997, the best athletes in the world were black. Tiger Woods was the first African American to break through the color barrier. Prior to him was only Arthur Ashe in sports in reverse, which means that Jackie Robinson did it in sports in forward. So there's entropy, okay? There are a number of dominating sports. There are 4 major sports in the United States. Then there is soccer, and there are 2 country club sports known as tennis and golf. Let's break down these sports very quickly. First and foremost, racism exists only in balance. You must have 2 people or entities involved for a concept of racism. So, in football, it is racist towards the African American athlete. Let's say black, because black is a color, nothing more. It is a color. It is not a description of a human being's ability. There are white people and black people that have both been presidents of the United States, which is taught to us to be the highest achievable level you can reach as a human being. So please, spare me the lectures of racism, because anyone who doesn't understand that what I'm saying is based on applied mathematics and not some sort of an agenda to fuel racism is a racist themselves and a moron on top of it because they can't do basic algebra. Do you understand that, Jamie?
Yeah, this is I'm
So here we go.
fascinated.
Football is a racist sport. It is dominated by the black athlete, which is why Tom Brady's ascension to greatness is so epic and meteoric, because he is a transcender of the sport. There was Dan Marino, there were white quarterbacks before him, but he was one of the first white human beings to really break through the superstar level of the color barrier as a white football player. In basketball, that was achieved by no one. There has not been one single white basketball player that has dominated the sport of basketball for even 1 year. Luka Doncic and the Joker are both white, but they are not American. And there's a reason for that. Because this entire concept is based around the American culture, not athletes that are bred outside of America. So they don't count. You need to be an American white guy to dominate basketball. What?
It's really fascinating.
That's why people pay so much money for Christian Laettner, because Christian Laettner had a chance. He is the biggest failure in athletic history. Did you know that Christian Laettner was awarded a spot on the U.S. Olympic team without playing 1 day in the NBA? And he is one of the biggest examples of racism imaginable.
No, I had no idea.
There wasn't a single white guy on. You know what the Dream Team is?
Yeah, I remember that.
1996.
Was it that when it was?
Yeah, it was the Dream Team. Christian
Okay.
Leitner was on the Dream Team.
Shut up. Was he really?
Was Christian
I'm looking
Leitner
it
on the
up.
Dream Team?
I'm gonna look it up.
Christian Leitner is the largest athletic failure. There's Ryan Leaf and things like that. There's humans with substance issues. Christian Leitner is by far.
Oh my god.
He's the largest failure in human history, I assure you. The greatest expectations not reached is by a man named Christian Leitner, who was supposed to be the first transcender. He was supposed to be the Jackie Robins of basketball. Because remember, we live in an advanced society. Like, human beings that are racist don't really understand the concept of biology. It's not that they are hateful, or it's just basic biology to not understand that human beings are over 99% the same, and to really like discredit the concept of history where people don't know that the man that wrote The Three Musketeers, The Count of Monte Cristo, and the Man in the Iron Mask is black or was black. He has passed away. His name is Alexander Dumas, and he is featured in two very prominent movies named The Shawshank Redemption. Sorry, I'm looking at my hourglass over here. I know you can't see it, but essentially, tennis and golf are dominated by white people until Tiger Woods showed up, and the second that a black man was able to figure out the sport, he completely dominated until he was canceled. Let's be honest, okay? What happened with Tiger Woods was he was canceled, and it doesn't matter how good he is or bad he is, he'll always be remembered as a man who couldn't control his libido. And that is something that I've always been very proud of. I can also prove that the concept of racism only exists when you have the ability to have a mixed race. So in hockey, there are virtually no, like Ricky Weeks, I believe is the last human being that's black that I can remember. I'm sure there's other ones. I just think hockey's so boring and fake. There is no way two people can have a fight and go home. Sometimes they share a car. There's no possible way. There's no way these two human beings are fighting on the ice and then do not show up at each other's houses. You should see the size and the actual like ferocity of the athlete. So the fact that you can have tens of thousands of fights without a single conflict outside of the ice, one would say to themselves, holy shit, man, this is like professional wrestling at a different level. So there's no black people in hockey, so racism doesn't exist, so there's no option to like, is it the black guy or the white guy? And in baseball is dominated by Hispanic athletes because it's a mixed race sport. So if I haven't proven to you, have I proven to you?
You have.
Have I blown your mind?
You have, like, and I've checked your facts.
Have I been right about everything I've said so far? You see,
I've
ladies
been
and
fact
gentlemen,
checking you.
this is why I do not argue with people, because I use applied mathematics, game theory, facts, history, and everything you could humanly imagine to infuriate you. See this right here? This is a reference to a movie called The Fall Guy. White tongue. This is not for you. This is for a different group of human beings. I have exactly 14 days, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I'm a non-violent individual until the birthday of a very special little boy, my son Pierce, who I love more than anything except for Drake, who I love more than Pierce. Wait, I love Pierce more than Drake. Wait, I love them the same. Look, forever, always remember, better brother wins. Protect the queen, do your job. Childhood's over, unfortunately. I love you boys very, very much, but I assure you, the greatest thing I've ever done is shown you what it's like to lose your father. Because now, you can actually appreciate what we have, which is a real bond, real love, and real friendship. That is not what 99% of father and sons have. Boys, I will go to the grave knowing the truth about how much I love you and how much I would never give up. And that is the greatest movie of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Daniel PreRisis. I wanted to thank the prosecutor's office, especially the public defender's office. Please understand, in taxpayer dollars, without the public defender's office, the prosecutor's office couldn't exist. One's the good guy, one's the bad guy. Who gives a shit? Republicans, Democrats, black, white, it's all the same. My name is Dan PreRisis. Don't ever fucking get me confused with anyone else. Wait a second, I'm early. I finished early. Tell me, what did you just say? Why did you wait off camera? Say it.
I said, you were so right. It says that hockey...
Jamie, you only have 5 seconds.
Hockey's only made up of 2 to 3% black players, 90% is...
By the way, that's why you're racist, because that's the thing that you found the most fascinating. But that's not a big deal. You know why? Because you were raised in a household where both parents are racists.
Yeah.
Mine are just idiots. Not my dad. He was a genius and kind. I love you. Bye.